There's this idea floating around that if you're a strong leader, you can handle anything in the moment. That no matter what's thrown at you, you just deal with it. And honestly, that idea has taken down more business owners than I can count. Because here's the truth, when it all hits at once, you're not just dealing with a situation. You're dealing with adrenaline, racing thoughts, emotional spikes, and that awful feeling in your chest like you can't quite catch your breath. And if you try to make big decisions in that state, 9 times out of 10, you'll make them from panic, not from clarity. In hospitality, those moments can feel like a wave that just keeps coming. You get a staff member calling in sick, the booking system goes down, a supplier lets you down, you're low on stock for tonight's specials, a guest is kicking off at the bar, and somewhere in between you remember you haven't eaten since 9 a.m. It's not that you can't handle pressure, you can, you've proven that. It's that when everyone piles up at once, your brain stops prioritizing, it stops filtering, everything feels urgent, and that's when leaders burn themselves out, make decisions they regret, or say things that they wish they hadn't. This video is about stopping that spiral, about having a process, a crisis recovery plan that you can reach for in the middle of the storm so that you can calm your head, find your next step, and lead from clarity instead of chaos. Hi, I'm Trevor. I've run a successful restaurant and cocktail bar for years. But here's the thing, I didn't come from hospitality. I built the whole thing from scratch, figuring it out in real time. For a long time, I thought my ability to handle chaos was my biggest strength. If anything went wrong, I was the first one in. If everyone else was stressed, I'd take on more. If I had to stay until 4 a.m. to get things back on track, I would. And for a while, it looked like that was working. The venue was full, the awards were coming in, and people assumed I had it all together. But behind the scenes, I was fraying at the edges. I remember weeks where it felt like I was carrying the whole thing on my back. Staff, drama, customer complaints, supplier problems, money pressure, all before I'd even opened the front door. And the truth is, I wasn't actually handling it. I was just reacting constantly. And here's the bit I didn't see until much later. Living in that state was changing me. I was more irritable, I couldn't sleep properly, my mind was always on, and then came the panic attacks. Not one big breakdown, but a series of them spread out over a few years. The worst one was in the car with my wife. I had 3 in a row, and it was the first time she'd ever seen it happen. It terrified her, and it terrified me too. That was my moment of realizing that this wasn't just a bit of pressure, this was unsustainable. I didn't know it at the time, but what I needed wasn't just a holiday or a quieter week. I needed a system for when everything hits at once. Something to take me out of reactive mode and put me back into control of myself before I even tried to take control of the situation. That's where the crisis recovery plan was born. And now it's not just for me, it's one of the first things I share with my coaching clients, because I know without a doubt, if you're in hospitality, you will have those days where it all hits at once. The question is, will you have a way to handle them that doesn't cost you your health? Here's the thing, when you're in the middle of chaos, you cannot trust your brain to give you the full picture. When adrenaline's running the show, your perception shrinks. You see problems bigger than they are. You overlook solutions, you make assumptions about how bad something will get without any evidence. And that's not a flaw, that's your brain trying to protect you. It's fight or flight response doing what it's designed to do, get you to act fast. But leadership requires the opposite. It requires slowing the moment down just enough to see clearly. A crisis recovery plan acts like a filter. It separates the facts from the noise. It gets the emotions out of your head and onto paper where you can actually work with them. And it stops you from making snap decisions you'll regret 2 hours, 2 days, or 2 weeks from now. Before I walk you through exactly how to use the plan, I want you to take 2 minutes to do something that could change the way that you lead forever. I've built a free business wellness quiz. It's 20 quick questions that show you exactly where you're strong, where you're stretched, and where the early warning signs might be creeping in. It's like holding up a mirror to your leadership and well-being at the same time. You can take it now. The link's in the description. It's completely free. You carry a lot and you deserve the tools and the support to carry it well. The 3 stages of crisis. When everything hits at once, it's tempting to think of it as one big problem, but really every crisis has 3 parts. The hit, when it lands and your adrenaline spikes. The fog, when your thoughts are scrambled, you feel urgent about everything and you're tempted to react instantly. And the shift, when you get enough clarity to choose your next move. Most leaders never get past the fog before making a decision, and that's why they end up putting out one fire only to start another. The goal of the crisis recovery plan is to shorten the fog stage so that you can get to the shift quickly without burning yourself in the process. So let's break this down. The crisis recovery plan is simple on purpose. When you're in the middle of overwhelm, you don't need a 10-step corporate process. You need something that you can grab, fill in fast, and have it pull you out of the fog. Here's how it works. Step 1, what happened? You start by writing down exactly what happened. No analysis, no judgment, just the facts. For example, Delivery didn't arrive this morning. 2 team members called in sick. Booking system went down. Anything like this would be fine. Why this matters? When your brain is overloaded, it loves to blend facts with assumptions. By writing down, you separate the trigger from the stories you're telling yourself about it. Step 2, what triggered it? Here's where you dig one layer deeper. Was it really the event itself that triggered you? Or was it what the event meant in your head? For example, delivery didn't arrive. Now we're run out of stock for tonight. Guests will be upset. Bad reviews will follow. We'll lose business. See how quickly your brain can snowball. This step helps you catch that before it takes over. Step 3, what am I feeling right now? Name the emotions. Don't just say stress, get specific. Frustrated, 70%. Anxious, 90%. Angry, 50%. Hopeless, 40%. Why? Because when you put a number next to the intensity, you start to see it for what it is, a feeling, not a fact. Step 4, what's in my control versus out of my control? This is where the shift really starts to happen. Split the page in 2, and on one side list everything that you can influence right now, and on the other everything you can't. So for example, in control might be contacting another supplier, adjusting the menu, updating the team. Out of control, the fact that the original delivery isn't coming, how long it would take to fix the booking system. When you can visually see what's outside of your control, it's easier to stop wasting energy on it. And step 5, what's the real impact? Often our worst decisions come from overestimating the damage. So ask yourself, if I do nothing for the next 30 minutes, what actually happens? Usually it's not as catastrophic as your brain wants you to believe. Step 6, immediate recovery plan, 24 hours to 3 to 5 days. This is where you take back the driver's seat. What's one thing you can do right now to steady the ship, and what's the short plan for the next few days? For example, right now, assign a team member to call local suppliers. 3 to 5 days, meet with the kitchen team to discuss contingency menus. Step 7, lessons to prevent repeat. This is the leadership gold. Every crisis is data. The more you learn from each one, the less power it has over you the next time. That's the crisis recovery plan in a nutshell. It doesn't just help you think, it forces you to slow down enough for your rational brain to catch up. And here's the thing, if you want a copy of this, I'm giving it away for free. Just comment the word recover and I'll send it over to you directly. Now, sometimes a situation doesn't just throw you into logistical chaos, it hits you right in the nervous system. You feel it physically, tight chest, racing thoughts, that I can't do this feeling. And that's where the CBT-Inspired method that I built comes in. It's like a rapid fire reset button for your brain. Here's the structure. 1, situation. Describe when it was, what you were doing, where you were, and who was with you. 2, emotion. Write down the emotions you felt and rate their intensity 0 to 100%. 3, thought. Write down your thoughts you had and how strong they were. Number 4, unhelpful thinking style. Identify patterns like jumping to the worst conclusion or mind reading. The act of writing this down does 2 things. It slows the spiral by putting the thoughts into words instead of letting them loop around in your head. It creates just enough space for you to challenge what's true and what's assumption. There was a time when I was almost afraid to go to bed. All day I'd keep myself busy enough that my brain wouldn't catch up. But the second I laid my head on the pillow, the floodgates opened. Every scenario from every day, every possible disaster in the weeks ahead, most of them completely irrational. I'd lie there for hours, my heart racing, unable to switch off. It wasn't until I started using the crisis recovery sheet at night, literally writing down each thought as it came, that I could break the cycle. Seeing the thought written down and breaking it into situation, emotion, thought, and unhelping thinking style let me take it to the end of the line. Most of the outcomes my brain was predicting weren't just unlikely, they were impossible. And once I saw that, my body could finally let go enough for me to go to sleep. Here's the part most people miss. Using a crisis recovery plan isn't just about putting out today's fire, it's training for the next one. Think about it like a fire drill. The first time is messy, you don't know where to go, what to grab, how to coordinate, but if you practice regularly, the steps become second nature. Every time you walk yourself through what happened, what's in my control, what's the real impact, how do I recover now? You're teaching your brain not to panic by default. You're giving it a process to lean on instead of chaos. And here's the kicker. You don't just get better at handling crises, you get better at spotting them earlier. The small red flags become obvious. You don't wait until you're lying awake at night with your mind racing to do something about it. I've had coaching clients tell me this is the single most important tool that they've learned. Not because it makes problems go away, but because it makes them navigatable. When you recover well from a crisis, your team notices. They see that you're steady, that you're not losing your head, that you're making decisions from a calm place, even if things are on fire behind the scenes. That's contagious. Your calm becomes their calm, and over time it changes the culture. People start bringing you solutions, not just problems, because they know you'll meet them with clarity, not chaos. In my own business, I noticed something unexpected. The more I used this process, the less my team brought me crisis problems in the first place. Not because there were fewer problems, but because they'd started using the same questions themselves before deciding if they needed me. That's leadership in its purest form. Creating independence, not dependence. If you want to see where you're strong and where the cracks are forming, I've built something for you. The Business Wellness Quiz. It's quick, it's free, and it will give you the personalized score on how you're doing across the key areas that affect both your business and your well-being. You'll see exactly where you might be heading towards overwhelm and what to do about it. The link's in the description if you want to take it. So here's the truth. Chaos is part of hospitality, but chaos ruling you, that's optional. Most leaders wait until they break to change how they handle it. I don't want that for you. You can start training your brain and your body to stay grounded now, before the next big moment hits. The crisis recovery plan isn't magic, it's a mirror. It shows you what's actually happening so that you can decide what happens next. Pair that with the simple situation, emotion, thought, unhelpful thinking style method, and you've got a way to pull yourself out of the spiral in real time. I'm not fixed. I'm still on my own journey with this. I still have days where the old habits try and take over, but I've come far enough to know this. You're not powerless in those moments. You can learn to lead yourself through them. And the ripple effect of that on your business, your team, and your life is huge. You matter too. Don't forget that.